Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to Jackie Buntan in the main event up against Stella Hemetsberger for a chance to be the new one women's strawweight Muay Thai World Champion. Double champ status awaits. That's a very exciting prospect, right? How are you feeling about it?
I am extremely excited about it. I don't think there's any other word to describe it, but it's a rare chance to go for two sport world gold. So yeah.
You already created a bit of history becoming one's first strawweight kickboxing champion. What did that mean to you?
Oh, it meant the world to me. I am a big believer in trusting my timing and just everything that led up to that, doing it against a legend like Anissa Meksen, everything just worked out perfectly. So to be able to do that again, and the goal is to keep doing it again and again and again.
What was that like? Could you go a bit deeper into that? I mean, yeah, like you say, Anissa Meksen, what a legend of the sport. So not only to win gold, but to do it against an icon. Did you look up to her before that? Did you envision beating her?
Yeah, every fight I take, I always envision that fight going my way, me coming out victorious. I've mentioned it in the past, but I've definitely known Anissa Meksen. I've remember her way before Glory. I remember her career in Glory. I was like in high school, I think, when she was competing in Glory. So it was a tall order, but as the cliche says, in order to be the best, you have to beat the best. And I never shied away from a challenge. I think every fight I've had in one championship has been a challenge. So it's nothing new to me. But yeah, I think winning that world title was amazing, but to do it against somebody so high caliber, that just, was able to seal the deal for me.
How is how does it feel when you've got the belt around your shoulder? Because it's one thing to be chasing a goal, and it's another thing to be the one with the belt and a target on your back, right?
True, yeah. Two different feelings, but to be honest, having a target on my back, being world champion doesn't make any difference. I mean, obviously there's that factor of I want to keep this belt. That's the plan, that's the goal. But I don't know. I'm pretty good at with maintaining, you know, discipline and being able to give myself grace. I feel like I've mastered that well into my career so far. So I don't add any extra added pressure. This whole career path is a lot of stress already.
You do one of the toughest sports on the planet and just waking up every day and clinching and running and skipping and all sorts of just hard graft. Takes a lot of motivation, but did that winning a world title like this, did it put some more fuel in the tank? Did that put some spring in the step? Does it make it easier to wake up and grind every day?
And I wouldn't say it makes it easier, but it definitely adds more fuel in my tank. I'm definitely not settled, or I'm definitely not satisfied. I mean, I got the big one out the way, the first world title, especially be the first one to do it within the one championship strawweight division, and again, doing it against a legend. That's amazing. But what's next? I've fallen guilty of that, of achieving success and then thinking of what's next, but that's the reality of it. So it definitely adds fuel to my tank.
Are you looking to kind of expand your legacy now? Because this generation of fighters that you're a part of, you are, generational. Are you looking to kind of become a legend of this era?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I think that's up to the masses, really. I know well in my heart that I'm just trying to get absolutely everything I can out of this sport. We're not able to do this forever. So my goal is just to go as hard as possible while I still can. And everything lines up as I do that. So in terms of being a legend, yeah, that's I think every athlete's goal, but I think that's also up to the audience, up to the fan base, right? But so far I have a great following and it's nothing but love and support. So yeah, I always feel backed.
With your status and with your skills and everything else, you could go and be in a Mortal Kombat movie or something after this. Would that be something you'd like to do?
Yeah, that would be actually really awesome. I had my little fair share of trying out I'm blanking. Sorry. I had like 2 sessions earlier. I'm like all dozed off right now. But I had my fair share of chance of trying some stunt work last year, like very minimal stunt work, nothing serious. It was actually a whole lot of fun, but it is so different than training martial arts. Martial arts, you're going 110%, where this stunt work, you're not even probably going 50%. But yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of action movies, Kill Bill, Charlie's Angels. Those movies have always been kind of started my itch into woman empowerment, I guess you would say, and kind of see that path of going into something in the action world. But yeah, never say never.
How proud are you that one championship consistently has females headlining the card, which 10 years ago we wouldn't see so often. I think the game has changed, right?
The game has definitely changed. I'm extremely proud to let alone compete at Lumpinee Stadium as a woman. But like you said, to headline a whole event, that's just amazing. And I only hope to see more opportunities like this for women because without that visibility, we won't ever be able to get what these female athletes deserve. So yeah, we're going in the right direction. I just want to see more women headlining these events for sure.
Tell me about your opponent. She's coming into this off a knockout, three straight wins on one Friday fights, but now she's fighting on the big show. Now she's fighting for a belt. Different levels.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of Stella because I know her gym. Big fan of her gym, great athletes over there. She's a super nice girl too. She's definitely worked her way up to the contract, and I think it made sense to have her as an opponent for this fight. But yeah, like I said, every fight I take, like any other athlete, they're confident they're going in there to win, and I'm confident in my ability. I'm confident in everything firing as an athlete for me. So, yeah.
How do you see the fight going? Can you break it down for us in terms of your skill set versus her skill set?
Yeah, I think we have two very different styles, very different strengths at that. Um, but I say it every interview, but I always strive to be adaptable. But not only that, being able to be powerful, technical, fast, all things firing once I'm in there. And I feel I'm able to showcase that each fight. I just want to be able to do it better and better each time.
Looking at your record, I mean, it's a lot of green, it's a lot of W's. We've only got the Smilla fight. Sorry, we've only got the Smilla fight. And how do you look back on that now in terms of what you took away from it, how you recovered from it, and is that chapter closed? Is that something that you want to get back one day?
Oh, I mean, I'm that chapter's been closed for me. I know, again, I don't know if she's still in the promotion. I don't know if she could still make that weight, but what was that? 3 years ago now, I was 25, and it doesn't seem that far off ago, but I've grown so much, mentally. I've matured in a way in this sport throughout those 3 years. You were to ask me that 3 years ago, 2 years ago, it was probably one of my biggest heartbreaks. And looking back at it now, a loss sucks, but there's way worse things that can happen than that. Um, so yeah, looking back at it, it was a big lesson for me, really. It was a big opportunity for me to grow, and so many beautiful things have happened for me ever since that fight. So, I don't have any ill feelings towards it.
This division, is this the start of a new era? Because, there was Smilla did have quite a reign, but now is it time to kind of usher in new fighters and a new story for this strawweight division?
I think so. Definitely. I feel like my last fight was a perfect example of two generations colliding, right? I'm in this new era generation where Anissa Meksen was probably just a generation before me. She's still a beast at it, but I even every day I see more young girls starting Muay Thai, let alone competing in Muay Thai. So big doors are opening up for females, and I'm just glad to be able to have a small part of that.
Is there any super fights that you feel have to happen, whether it's this year, next year, super fight with Phetjeeja, for example, is that kind of inevitable?
It's dependent. It's really it's a tricky thing with the weight classes, right? I think to any other fan, it doesn't seem like that big of a difference. Oh, it's one weight class below, one weight class high. I for sure know I am not I am not going down to 115. You know, I feel super strong at my current weight. So I think it all goes down to that, to be honest. It's just a matter of weight.
Are there any girls down there who you would relish the challenge to come up? I mean, Alicia is proving herself to be kind of a modern icon of the sport. She's doing wonderful things. What do you make of her reign at the moment?
Amazing. You know, I'm a fan. She's a beast. She's killing it, you know, let alone being a woman doing this. And I think she's like a year younger than me, around the same age as I am. So to be able to do it, like you said, for the new generation, I think it's amazing. She's doing big things right now for sure.
And I heard Stamp is going to come back to Muay Thai. Is that exciting for you? That she's, coming back to striking and she was focused on MMA for a number of years, but she's such a fun presence to have, right?
Yeah, for sure. You know, she's been out for a while. I'd love to see her back healthy, strong body again. I think everyone would be excited when she returns, whatever discipline that is.
And in terms of what you've been working on, what are you most proud of? Because it's been, what is it, November that we last saw you?
Yeah, my last fight was November, so it's been a minute now. But yeah, you know, again, I came out of last year with a big high off winning and, you know, ended the year off not so much on a good note. So I made sure to take the time going into 2025 for myself, not rush things, and that was probably the best decision I've ever done. You know, so far I've had a great year. But I'm excited to get back to work. I'm excited to get back to doing what I do best, doing what I love. So
You got that lovely finish against Deandra Martin. Are you sensing a finish here?
I think every athlete always sensing a finish, always sensing that 50K, hoping to
Yeah.
get that 50K. But for sure, yeah, you know, thinking about it too is like, oh wow, back in the little gloves. You know, I haven't fought in the little gloves since what, March of last year? Not too long ago, but yeah, different game for sure, different weapons.
Is it fair to say Muay Thai is your biggest love, and this is this where you're most natural competing in Muay Thai with all the weapons at your disposal?
Yeah, I'd say so, you know, with the weapons, but just stylistically as well. Kickboxing's great. Definitely love my the chance to be able to compete in kickboxing again, defend that belt. But yeah, it's totally different. There's similarities, but going back into this camp training Muay Thai, it's fun for me. You know, like you said, it's back to my roots, really.
Is there a to-do list this year? Is there a bucket list for you? Tokyo, for example, 173, the showpiece, the timing wouldn't be too bad, right?
So far, right now, I'm very much what's right in front of me. What's right in front of me, September 5th. So that's the next mission.
And what is the fight that you're most excited to see this year, just as a lover of the game?
Oh man, I don't even know, to be honest. I have can't even remember who is fighting. Is Superbon fighting in Tokyo, right?
Fighting Noiri, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see that one happen again. They're both killer fighters, so I'd love to see that round two.
Who's gonna win?
Oh man, I don't know. Two different. I don't know. I'd say Superbon this time.
Yeah,
I'd
he's a
say Superbon.
master. He's a
Yeah.
master. It's gonna be a fun one. All right, Jackie, thanks so much. Great to have you back. Can't wait to see it. And maximum respect.